Welcome to Virtual Concert Hall's live music channel. I'm James Welch, your host for today's show. We are connecting musicians and audiences in real-time performances and music news from around the globe. Well, today we continue with our Music and Musicians Around the Globe series. Today, we will be featuring the fabulous, extraordinary, gifted pianist and teacher, Sonya Visser. Sonya is an experienced music educator, composer, accompanist, pianist whose passion for piano pedagogy and art is infectious, generating a similar enthusiasm in her students. She is the co-founder of Queensland Music Tuition, a piano, a teacher, an examiner. She's performed for Petroff Piano's Artists Series in Australian music trade shows along the Gold Coast, and she's been a guest artist for the Victorian Yamaha Festival State Gala in Melbourne City Hall. Her students have been recipients of prestigious awards and so much more that we're about to find out as we welcome her into the studio. We're so grateful to have her today. Sonya, how you doing today?
I'm great, thanks, James.
It's great to have you here, and
It's great to be here.
We're looking so much forward to just learning more about you and your studio and how you've had such great success. And we're just wondering here. You mention in your bio that the teaching and music has become a lifestyle for you, and I think many of our colleagues, myself included, can relate to that. But even so, every musician's lifestyle is so unique in this field. And how might you describe that to our viewing audience today?
Well, from my point of view, I guess it is very much my lifestyle. It's almost 24/7. I think you go to bed thinking about how you're going to, what your next project is, and what are the logistics behind it, and what music you could give certain students. And yeah, it does actually end up, I guess, becoming part of you very much. And I'm pretty sure most music teachers and musicians would be able to relate to that. Like you said, it
Yeah,
does really become part of you.
not your typical 9 to 5 job.
No,
More like your
it is
9 to 9 the next
mhm.
day job. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's definitely not a 9 to 5 job.
Mm, what are some of the most memorable moments that you've had from the time that you've studied in London and all over? What are some of the most memorable moments that you have that you might still be using today in your teaching?
Um, well, I would say, look, doing my postgraduate degree at Griffith University, I did a master's degree in piano pedagogy, and guess I was there for about 6 months, and I discovered that my second cousin was in the class, Susan. We didn't know it. We knew of each other, but we didn't actually know each other. And yeah, we've stayed in connection. And she lives on the Gold Coast actually. Her husband is an engineer, and he's done, and she's got some beautiful children. They're all musicians as well. But Laura, who I think you're going to speak about a bit later on,
Hmm.
I mean, we've had the connection. She was able to actually practice before one of her piano exams at their place, because they went down to the Gold Coast, for instance, on holidays. And so it's just been really nice to have that connection with her, and bounce off each other. We don't see each other much these days because it is a little bit of a journey, but it's lovely to see her
Wow.
when we do.
Where's Brisbane compared to the Gold Coast? Like, how far away is it?
It's drivable. A lot of people actually go to the Gold Coast from Brisbane, for the weekend or something like that. It's to the start from Brisbane. We're on the north side. Gold
Hmm.
Coast is down south, and so you have to go through the city in order to get to the Gold Coast. A couple of hours, so it's not too
Oh,
far.
nice little drive there. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
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 there's lots down there. It's really pretty.
yeah, well, how weird, I mean, that you rekindled a family connection through your
Oh, it
studies.
was so funny. It was
That's
really funny.
and
Yeah, and
yeah,
we've
this
just yeah, it's great. We've been able to share ideas, and she's a great musician and a really good teacher. She's done well with all her students, and
mm,
yeah, so it's just lovely to.
um, and you have someone on a different part of the continent or the country that you can bounce ideas off of and share
Yeah,
stories
yeah.
with, and that's those connections are just always invaluable. That's
Mm.
how wonderful. And we speak so much about advanced students and their education, but we don't always, talk about what we do with, students who are just studying for the basic interest or experience, or just, to satisfy their curiosity, to just have fun with it. And I know that you have students that, are more beginner and immediate in some ways too. And how do you cater and nurture to the levels of interest that maybe aren't the students that want to definitely pursue a career or a lifestyle in this field?
Well, definitely, I think, and a lot of piano teachers would do this. I'm quite sure. You sort of, I guess, have a feel for the personality of the student, and through discussions with them, you gradually get to find out what their goals and ambitions are. And if it's not to be a a concert artist and touring the world, well, and they just want to learn a few movie themes, or some pop songs, um, well then, yeah, that's when I suppose you get on. I like doing some arrangements for kids like that, adapting to whatever their technical you know, abilities are. Sometimes you'll get for instance, some of the anime pieces are really beautiful,
Mm,
and they're quite fearfully difficult. And some of the kids and the games music, they might want to play that, and so
mm,
I like to rearrange it so that it's a little bit simplified. And so I do quite a bit of that, and it's always fun to make it social because they tend to stick with their music more and it becomes a part of their life, which is
mm,
I guess our goal as music
mhm,
teachers. We do have a large responsibility. I think it's a privilege to teach them, and it isn't a responsibility because you do have to encourage. And that's one of the things like that I really, really admired about the prominent piano festival
mm,
is the positive feedback that was given. You know, some of the kids, they're all students, no one's perfect, and they've all got some little thing that could improve. And
mm,
it doesn't matter who it
mm.
is, there's always something that you can improve with. And I was just blown away with just the friendly, positive feedback, which I thought was just awesome. And that's, I think, what I try to do with the students as well. I like to, like I said, they're not all going to be concert artists, and
Mm.
some of them just want to play a few pop songs. And so the Halloween for the little kids is great. Um,
Oh,
I
that was
always
neat.
always go over the
Yeah.
top with that.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you to tell us about that first clip that we saw. Because there was quite a bit of Halloween in there. I mean, there are a few other things too, but um, it seems like you're great at finding new and unique type of events to for your students to work towards and showcase. In and it seemed like an environment that was like more casual, so
It was.
not so much pressure to be perfect or to give the best performance, but to just have the entertaining. But I mean, can you tell us a little bit more about those?
Well, yeah, it's I think playing in little ensembles and or duets or trios, it's not as confronting for students that perhaps don't have the same self confidence that perhaps someone that does an awful lot of practice and is perhaps a little bit more serious about maybe pursuing music as a career, and so playing in a more casual environment, it's a little bit more friendly, I think, for them, and it's fun. And I think it's important to make music fun. Yeah,
Yeah, I would
in
agree
a
with that.
nutshell.
who,
Yeah.
who, who wants to do something that's not fun?
No, that's right.
I
So
mean, maybe there's some people, but you know, um, but yeah, it should be fun and encouraged, and I mean I think maybe one of the biggest challenges we have, in this field is trying to help people that seem discouraged sometimes, and
yeah,
seems
yeah,
like
that's right. It's
yeah it,
you don't like to see students and kids. Is there? I actually really I love the communication with the students, and they're all different. You meet so many different people, different
mhm,
personalities, and it's I do enjoy what I do, and I feel very
mm,
privileged to have this as my career because it's like I said, yeah, it is really a lifestyle, and you
indeed.
really do get, I suppose, really involved in events that you're putting on, and like we have some kids that a few years back they were taking hospitality as a subject at school, and they had a unit on creating mocktails because obviously you can't do cocktails because it's got alcohol in it in their school level. So they had mocktails and they were able to create their own menus. And so I thought, oh, let's have a mocktail party because there were a few of them that were learning the piano.
Oh wow.
And so we set up. a little bar with non-alcoholic beverages, and they had a great time sort of mixing. And my younger son was always paid out by his older brother for being a bit of a klutz, and they're really funny. And anyway, on this particular occasion, Andrew, the older one, was helping, and he's supposed to be the one that's well coordinated and never breaks anything. And anyway, the older one was shaking. One of the shake, it didn't have the lid on properly, and it just exploded, and it went everywhere. And the younger one was standing right next to him.
Right there.
And he did not get one drop on him, the younger one, who was supposed to be.
That's the best way to do it, right?
Yeah, so they had a good time, and they all were playing, piano pieces, and it was a great night.
Mocktail piano recital.
Yeah.
Yeah. How neat. Well, I mean, you definitely really sparked my interest in the creative performance opportunities end of things, and I've seen a couple of great things, but I mean, it seems like you've outdone yourself just finding a well-rounded way to relate these to whatever their current interests are and experiences, and it's just really refreshing.
I have fun too.
Yeah.
I have fun too.
I'm not surprised. I mean, you're just so well invested into it. I mean, who could not have fun doing that? It's wonderful, and I mean, it's just very important. And then, of course, I mean, we talk about the advanced students most of the time, and that will kind of move that way, I think, right now, because I mean, there are advanced students, and there are even beginners that know right away, this is what I want to do. And there's obviously different events and exams and courses and all that you have for those students as well. But before we dig into that, I'd like to maybe just show a clip of some of your student success here. Well, that was fun. Wow,
Yeah.
cool. Wow. Well, congratulations to all of your successful students and to you on that. I mean, those are some fabulous performances. And yeah, I can't imagine what it would have been like to be sitting in the room through all that.
Yeah. Oh, it's fun even just going through the lesson process and from learning the pieces and
Yeah,
the whole
I was,
process.
yeah, I'm curious, I mean, what are some indicators or what do you do, when you notice that you have a student that's like ready to be pushed to the next level? Or, I mean, particularly advanced students, but I mean, maybe we don't have to isolate that to the advanced students, but like, what what do you kind of look for? I know that's a broad question, but
Oh, it kind of is, really. I guess it's just, let's say it's intuition, maybe. You just feel your way, and it's a bit of trial and error because everyone's different. Every
mm,
personality is different, and if you are pushing a little bit too much, well, then I think you back off, and you
mm,
just have to know where your boundaries are, I
mm.
guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, do they ever come in and say, "Hey, look, I want to play this piece," and you
Yeah.
and you're
I think we've
thinking,
all
"Well,
had that.
that's a good goal to have," um, but
Yeah,
and
I've got a little tiny girl who came and she was busting to play Fur Elise by Beethoven, and so I wrote this little really easy, really easy version, um, in the same key that's the original key, and just with single bass notes. And she's only, I think she's in year 2 at school, which is probably
wow,
about 6 or 7 or something. But it's an easy version.
mm,
And that's how I got around that one because obviously she's not able to play the original version.
mm. Oh
So
yeah,
sometimes you can sort of take the main theme and just put simple bass notes, I
well,
guess.
neato. Yeah, I've seen that before in some method books too, where in the easy version of the melody between two hands or um
Yeah.
something. And people often wonder, well, where does that stuff come from? Well, it's teachers like you. Yeah, and they put
Yeah.
them in a book. And yeah,
Mm.
it it's neat. I mean, have you ever had a point where the student's been so ambitious that you've had to ask him or try to influence them to ease up a little bit?
Um, I don't like to discourage
Yeah,
them. If they're
yeah,
really enthusiastic and really, really
yeah,
keen, it's an awful thing to kill the enthusiasm.
yeah,
But I
yeah.
think, yes, you've got to be really careful as to what you do with them. Maybe you can channel that enthusiasm in a slightly different direction. Yeah, I think, yeah, just all situations are unique,
Definitely,
and I think there's a lot of trial and error that goes on. And
of
actually, the
course.
school where I teach at St Pauls in it's north side, it's about half an hour away. Um, but it's great having a lot of colleagues that you can sort of chat to. They're all like-minded, and you can bounce ideas off.
Mm.
It's really nice having that environment to work
Oh,
in,
that's
as well
great.
as
Yeah.
just a home studio. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Wonderful.
because
Yeah,
I
these are.
think,
Yeah,
yeah, I think ideas of getting around certain issues, it's always great to bounce off your colleagues. Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, these are the tough questions sometimes, and yeah, the answers just sometimes come through
Mm,
discussion. I guess is
absolutely.
yeah. So don't be afraid to ask those tough questions to your friends and colleagues, right?
Absolutely,
um,
yeah, because there's always somebody out there that perhaps has had a bit more experience in that particular field or with that issue, and it's great. You can all learn from each other, and I think that's
indeed, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Those long-term connections from college, even if they're
mm,
family, yeah,
yeah,
or even the current ones, yeah. You have one very advanced student in particular who's had a great amount of success in their studies, who's done nothing but knock our socks off here. And
yeah. Oh,
that's
she's
Laura
definitely one
McCormick.
of my favorites, and yeah,
Hmm.
I'm absolutely proud of her. She's awesome, and she's going to go on and do great things, I'm sure. Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, she first came to us, with the Progressive Musicians Prominent Pianist Festival, which was a hybrid event, and it was, our first venture as a hybrid event. Um, and for anyone out there who doesn't know what that means, it means that like we did all of the adjudications and auditions online, but then the actual recital was in person and online. So we had a theater with a stage and a piano in Buffalo, New York, and all of the locals and people from around Buffalo that were selected came and played in person. Everybody else played and was projected onto the movie screen for that live audience to see, all remotely. So everyone was part of this collective experience all at once, whether they were watching at home or in the theater, and they all got to watch each other. And oh yeah, the people in the theater were able to be watched remotely by anyone in the world, people at home particularly, but um
It
anyone
was
in
just
it,
awesome.
it, it,
It was
it was definitely fun, and we need to do it again. It's,
absolutely.
but we have a clip of what it looked like inside the concert hall to be watching someone remotely, and it's a short clip. We're just going to show that now of Laura playing. That was so neat. So, I mean, what you actually heard there, that was not a sound effect applause. That was the studio audience in the theater
Yeah.
applauding for her live, and it was just so neat and fun. And I mean, she's gone on to do such great things in the last year. She was one of the winners, but she was the only selected recipient to have a free ride to our recital at Carnegie Hall, and she ended up coming in and playing that, and then also a concerto just about 6 weeks ago. And it was great to get to meet her, and you as well, and everyone, the whole gang, and to hear her in person and see that whole journey come to fruition. And she's just grown so much even since that performance. And I know that
She
you had
has, actually.
many you had several great students perform in that piano festival, and it was just neat. But getting to meet one of them in New York and seeing that journey was just wonderful. And I have to ask, I mean, how did you like New York? I mean, even though we
It was
made
a
it
blast.
cold and rainy for you.
It was cold, but we rugged up, and we all had a really good time. We loved New York, really loved it. It was a great place to visit. We went to a Broadway show. We tried to pack in as much as we could in between our visits to Carnegie Hall and the rehearsals, and going to piano rehearsal studio, which was awesome too. Yeah, so we had access to instruments every day to practice on, which was great. Yeah.
It's a great city, and even though the weather was crummy,
so
all the
much.
great musicians made us forget about it for most of the time. I don't think I've ever seen so much rain and wind in one place ever, as we did in New York that week.
And we came from a hot summer, so I think it was 28 or 20, 30 degrees Celsius, because we use Celsius here. Whatever that is in
90 degrees for anyone here.
Yeah, and then coming to, I think, a top of 10 degrees was a bit of a shock to the system.
Yeah, about 40 Fahrenheit for anyone who doesn't know that conversion. But yeah, it's pretty cold and wet.
It was cold. But we had such a good time. It was really good.
Yeah, and tell us a little bit about some of the journey of like just preparing for like the remote festival, the Prominent Pianist Festival in Carnegie. I mean, I'm sure there was more than just practice and learn your music and have your lessons. I mean,
well, what
was that like for you?
Oh, great. It was a real journey for me too as a teacher. But one of the things I find really useful is videotaping the students performing. And we've got a great little town hall close by with a beautiful grand piano in it. Actually, I think you're going to play a clip of Laura's journey with her concerto. And it starts off, we're actually in that little hall. And, we just even take the family. It's not expensive, and it's just great. And it gives them a real feel for playing on the stage. And I video the kids, their performances, just for their benefit. And I give them copies of their performances, and they can watch themselves back. And I think it's really advantageous to be able to watch yourself back and just take notes on any little spots that can be improved. And I think they can learn a lot
self-assessment.
Yeah, self-assessment.
Oh, that's definitely wonderful. Yeah, we will see some clips of that hall really soon. And this is all just so wonderful. I'd like to take just a little bit of time out here before we come to the end here and just talk about our upcoming events at Carnegie Hall. We have 7 galas at Carnegie Hall next season, and that's not everything that we have, but we have 7 galas, and if you're interested in being a part of that, you still have a few more days to apply, and we have a video that we'd like to show just detailing that right now.
Perform on our gala at Carnegie Hall. Auditions for the 2024-2025 season will be happening soon. We have opportunities for composers to have their works premiered and professionally recorded with the Leonard String Quartet, opportunities to perform a concerto with the New York Chamber Players and Orchestra Manhattan. Composers may also submit their scores to be premiered by these 2 fabulous orchestras. solo opportunities, chamber music opportunities, and opportunities for large ensembles as well. Receive evaluations from the finest musicians, have a press interview, be featured on our daily internet TV show, receive certificates, medals, and a video of your performance, and have opportunities for many other awards. Applications are currently available on our website. Don't miss out on your opportunity to present your music on this world-renowned stage. We look forward to hearing your performances.
Yeah, so that's opportunities for many different types of musicians, performing, composing, ensemble, chamber ensemble. We have it all there, and we have opportunities for concerto soloists to play with 2 different orchestras and composers to have their works premiered with those orchestras. It's just great, and we have 7 galas, and you have now until June 10th to apply. I believe all of our websites say June 1st, but you have till June 10th to get your application in, and you just have to send in a video of your best performance, and our selection committee will select people for a live performance. We do them right here on a show like this, live in front of judges. We have a great conversation. We hear great music, and yeah, check out soundespressivo.com, soundespressivocompetition.com, and progressivemusicians.com. Now, we have another project going on here, and that is the Qld Orchestra project, which is kind of fun. We just got back from Cairo and Zlin, Czech Republic, where we had 2 amazing concerts with orchestras there, professional orchestras, all concerto concerts. It was just wonderful. And earlier in the season, we had the Western New York Chamber Orchestra, which is based out of the State University of New York at Fredonia. But next season, we have so many orchestras. There's too many to list. We have the Lviv National Philharmonic in Ukraine. We have the Slovak Sinfonietta in Zinana. The Paducah Symphony Orchestra. And I believe there's multiple opportunities for some of these orchestras. Yeah, the Boulder Symphony Music Academy in Boulder, Colorado. And wow, Butler Philharmonic. Oh, there's so many of them. It's just the Royal Philharmonic in London is brand new, and we again will have the Western New York Chamber Orchestra and the Cairo Opera Orchestra again. And I know I'm forgetting a bunch of them. There's 14 of them, but if you go to currently all of the information is sitting at the Sound Espressivo competition website, where you can get a little bit of information on Qld Orchestra, but they're under construction right now. But Sound Espressivo has taken on this massive amount of information, and the application's there. And those 2 have a deadline that's been extended to June 10th. So if you're interested in playing a concerto with an orchestra around the world and having that wonderful feature experience, please check that out, fill out the application, and you don't have to send a concerto video in for your preliminary audition. Just send your best video in, and then when you're invited for live auditions, then you play the concerto. So just give us your very best right away. That way you don't have to scramble to make a new concerto video in what do we have? 2 days left here. 2 days. Yeah, get those videos in. We want to hear you. We want to hear all the great performances. And we just love to hear even repeat applicants come in and show us their improvement. And it's just a wonderful collective experience that you'll have on these auditions before we even get to the concerts. And now I'm great at rambling, so I'm just going to shift topics here and talk about our shows again here. We have this series. We have so many different series that go up daily, and we stream every day on all these major platforms here: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, you name it. We're there, Twitch even. And we have so many partners that have helped out supporting these events in the past. I mean, they don't fit on one screen anymore. We have multiple screens, but it takes a village. But now it seems like we have a whole city or almost an entire county of organizations that have provided multiple resources. And I'm not talking just about money, but just lending help, lending aid on the back end, providing awards. And we couldn't do this with all of your help, so thank you, partners out there. And we also have our own village of team members on these broadcasts that contribute to it. We have the fabulous Jennifer Wang back there right now flipping all these switches. Thank you, Jennifer. You're making us look great on screen. And there's so much that goes behind the scenes other than just flipping the switches here, and we couldn't do it without our team. Thank you, team. So we have a couple of minutes left here, and I'd like to bring Sonya back to ask one more question here. If you have anybody coming to you who's looking to start their studio or just start taking lessons with you, what inspiring words might you have to young aspiring musicians?
I guess just follow your dreams and work hard, because you can achieve whatever you set out to achieve, I think. And have fun. Enjoy
Very
what
important.
you're doing.
Yeah. And I think, just from the videos that we've seen, I mean, how could you not have fun with that?
I know.
Yeah, you bring in the fun element like nobody I've ever seen, and it's extraordinary. And we've really enjoyed having you here today, and thank you for bringing that to our show.
Yeah, thank you, James. I've enjoyed the whole connection with you guys, with progressive musicians and Sound Espressivo and the whole lot of you. But yeah, it's been an amazing, I suppose, eye-opening experience. And probably, I would say, one that's come about through COVID, one of the positive things, really. If there's anything else positive about COVID.
Right, yeah, I mean, I mean, sometimes you just got to see the silver lining in things, and I guess, it wasn't planned that way, but things happen, I mean, look at all this greatness from all these students and professionals around the world that have embraced the technology, and I don't know if we would be where we are without that pandemic that forced us into it.
Yeah, well, I guess, like I said, it's one of the very, very, very few things that is sort of positive that's come out of it.
Definitely. Yeah, wonderful. Well, it was great having you here, and thank you for bringing this all to our stage, and thank you for doing everything that you do to innovate and keep the industry modern and current and fun.
Thank you.
We're going to sign off here with a really fun clip of Laura McCormick's journey as she worked her way to her New York performances. So with that, we'll say goodbye, enjoy, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.